Live from our studios in Lagos, Nigeria, still Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. And now to our main conversation for today. A group of lawmakers in the House of Representatives are seeking amendments to the 1999 Constitution to pave way for the rotation of the presidency among the six geopolitical zones of the country.
They also want an amendment to the Constitution to provide a single tenure of 6 years for the President and Governors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Speaking on behalf of the group on Monday in Abuja, the member representing Idiato South, Idiato North Federal Constituency, Imo State Ikenga, Ugochinyere, explained that the pursuit of a reduction in government spending and wastage, efficiency in resource management, and overall national stability was behind the proposition of a single term of 6 years for the president and the governors. And still with us in the studios to do justice to this topic is Dr. Olayinka Oyegile and Barrister Evans Ofedi. Thank you, gentlemen, for hanging around. And let's get into our discussion proper. It's becoming very interesting that this rep member, Ugochinyere, is making a round, and especially amongst his colleagues. The last time he was posing for the creation of Olo State,
yes.
And now he is equally heading for equally, giving his thought and his energy to a one term of 6 years. Do you think, before we get into the main discussion in itself, particularly to this lawmaker, do you think there's something different about him that's absent in other lawmakers? Let me start with you.
It's not what is different from him. It's a lawmaker that is active, that has shown that he could use his office to function as a lawmaker. That is what it is. Other lawmakers do sponsor bills, to introduce bills to the House. So I think what is more important is the content of that bill that he's pushing for, which is a 6-year single term. And he has gone further to say that that will reduce the cost of governance. I don't know how. I mean, this is diversionary. If he had said that they should reduce the legislative chambers to one, okay, the one that affects him really, I would have said, okay, this guy is autistic. He wants to move things forward. But that argument, that one is pending. Somebody have muted the idea that we would need a unicameral legislature. He didn't speak on that. Now he has sidestepped that one, and he's now talking about that is the one that really will reduce cost of governance, unicameral legislature, and not this 6-year term of 6-year one term. I don't see how he's going to do that. And he also suggested further in the bill that we should have 2 vice presidents. Okay, yes, if you read further, you will see that you should have 1 vice president who will be the succession vice president. That in case anything happens to the president, that will take over. Then another one will be like a minister that will oversee the. So those are the suggestions made. These suggestions, they are going to determine a lot of things if it goes through the session, if it's not killed somewhere. But we should also know we have a history of this. Jonathan was the one who muted this during his tenure. When he brought an executive bill to that effect, it was thrown out on second reading. So it wasn't accepted. So this one, we don't know how long it's going to go. But for you to tell me that it reduce the cost of governance when the structure is still the same, it's just the tenure that will now reduce cost of governance. How will tenure reduce cost of governance? Because the next person coming is going to do 6 years. If assuming but not considering that this is accepted, one president will do 6 years, the one coming will do another 6 years. So how is it going to reduce cost of governance? Is this saying it's going to reduce cost of governance because we have election twice within 8 years? Is that what he meant?
Maybe.
So that you're not going to have election once every 6 years. What is the reduction of cost of governance? I've not seen any reduction there. So I think this is not really. It should say other things. It should explore other areas, how this will enhance efficiency, how this will bring growth. But those are not even areas. The center, talking about the center, who becomes the president or not, It's not what will bring growth to Nigeria. Talk about the local government. Talk about the autonomy. Talk about the human capital in Nigeria. Talk about how can the legislature make a law to assist the masses to access credit facilities to do business, to access facilities to tackle unemployment. Okay, those are the areas that you talk about. Not you are telling us about how long the president should stay and how long he should not stay, and that will be the one to reduce cost of governance.
Thank
It doesn't make any sense.
Thank you, Barrister
I don't
Philip.
agree with that thing is saying.
Okay, over to you, Dr. Layinka. Now, some Nigerians are saying this as a welcome development, going through social media, and some of them are reacting positively to it. Well, Barrister Philip is believing otherwise, especially in the aspect of reducing governance. And also, some Nigerians are seeing it as an opportunity to give the young ones an opportunity to thrive. Yes, the young ones are coming up. Seriously, I know it's a shock, but with Barrister Philip, you're actually believing in Nigeria being great. So they believe anything can happen. So do you think otherwise?
Well, I agree with him, I must say. However, what I'm seeing here is that some of these members in the National Assembly, they seem to be operating from a different world entirely from the entire populace. What is gradually creeping back now is that, was it in 2011 or 2011 or so that we had the national conference under President Jonathan? If you look at some of the steps that have been taken of recent, it's like going to that report and bringing it back out in piecemeal. The return of the old national anthem was recommended by the national conference. This also was recommended by the constitutional conference. I don't see it as Barrister said, as the cure-all for the malaise that we have now. The problem that is facing us now is the issue of security, food inflation, and all those things. The issue of constitution, you want to review the constitution and all that, it has always been like a checkbook for the National Assembly. Because at the end of the day now, if it goes to second reading, third reading, I don't know how many reading they have before they say, okay, let us do a public hearing and all those things. They will set up a committee. The committee will have sitting allowance and all that. All the constitutional review committees that we have had since 1999, made up mainly by members of the National Assembly. How many of their resolutions have been passed? How many of them are working today? So they will some people, I understand there are about 30 or 35 of them in the House of Rep who have agreed with him or abandoned with him to pursue this line. But this is not what we need now. What we need now is for them to really take a look, as Barrister said. We have 90 senators, if I'm not here. We have 300 and something House of Rep members. And everything they do is almost the same. So why don't we look at it and say, okay, is it the Senate that we want to retain and increase the number? Or is it the House of Rep that we want to retain and reduce the number or increase or whatever? That is the way to go. In a situation where you have two National Assembly, House of Rep and Senate, and they all sit down, the President will present the budget, the House of Rep will sit down in their house to look at it. The National Assembly and the Senate will look at it, and then they will have a joint sitting to come and approve and all. I mean, all those things are time wasters. Let us look at things that will affect the common man. the issue of local government, that is a very crucial thing that I think that the National Assembly should concern itself with. How do we make the local government work? I mean, when we always talk about Senate climb and all that, people don't get themselves concerned about who is the president unless it is election time. What concerns most people is, what is my councillor doing? What is the chairman of my council doing? Why is it that the road to my house is bad and it is Governor Sanwo-Olu I will be calling? Why not the local government chairman? Because we have made it so one that everybody wants to be in that place. The president, everybody wants to be president. Everybody wants to be governor because they know that that is where the cookie jar is. So let us face the reality. It is not the issue of whether president will spend 6 years or 4 years that matters. It is what is it that they are able to achieve in those years.
All right, Mr. Vance, let's talk about this. Gerrymandering, political survival of the fittest is what happens in Nigeria. A winner takes all. And one of the key elements we're not talking about here is the case of rotational presidency, like the rep equally said. Don't you think that would equally help to cure this this political ailment of marginalization that we've often cried about in Nigeria?
Yes, the same bill talks about rotational presidency within the six geopolitical zone. Okay, that is part of what was muted us. Again, that is not a solution-driven idea.
Really,
it's not. It's not, because that one is more of an emotional issue. Because check out the presidents who we've had before now. Jonathan, how much of development did Jonathan bring to Bayelsa? If we want to say, okay, because you need to have the president to rotate everywhere. Even Buhari, his own village now is torn completely. Okay, you understand, by insecurity and all that. So it's not about rotational anything. It's just like this Muslim ticket. Say, don't do Muslim ticket because other people will feel. It's about feeling. It's about emotions. But that's not what governance is about. You have to bring good governance to the people. And how do you do that? You do that from ground up. I expected him as a young, vibrant lawmaker who have been in the trenches to know exactly what the people need. And part of what they need is the local government restructuring, reformation. Then citizens should have what they should have as citizens. Then you have public health care. You have basic amenities. Talk about why is it that Nigeria cannot have power. Okay? Let's have a legislation that will cure that. Let's have legislation that will cure the issue of out-of-school children. Let's have legislation that will look at the most vulnerable areas of our society that have become inimical to the general public. Those are the issues that you look at. When you start to tell me about the president, what is the business of the citizen with the president and his tenure? So that he will stay one tenure out, so that what will happen? What will happen? It's not our business. So you are elected. There's a collective allegiance. People donated and gave to you to be their spokesperson. The least you could do for them is to address issues that affect them, and not the one that affect the elite. It's about grandstanding. They are grandstanding. That's what they are doing. How power will be shuffled within them so that they will get this and that, and let it rotate from here to here. How the farmer who wants to harvest, who has harvested his crops and is unable to move it from his village to where he will sell it, how does that one concern him? You should be talking about a transport system that will link the rural areas to the urban areas, to enable those who reside in the urban areas to have a smooth impasse into the. Look at the economic issues of the country. That is what Section 4 of the Constitution says, that the lawmaker is empowered by the Constitution to make laws for the good governance of the country. That's what it says. Not for what these issues that they are talking about. So I find this senator, I don't even know what are they bereft of experience, or were they elected out of space to come and lead their people? Which constituency did they come from? The problems that affect this country is common to everybody. So you should know it and then make laws to address it. That's all you need.
Even the issue of rotation has been taken care of. We all remember that if Buhari had his way, former Senate President Lawan would have been president today to succeed him.
Yeah.
But some governors from the north and some others say, no, you cannot have 8 years of Buhari and another 8 years or 4 years of another northerner. That's why it came to the south, when the man there today got it. So the issue of rotation is already there. Those are issues of the elite, as he said. It is not the business of that poor farmer in Karanamoda or in Ekiti or wherever. It is not his business. The business that concerns such people is, how do I farm without fear or favor? Now, people don't go far away to farm now because of insecurity. In fact, most of the things that we do, or most of the farming that is done now, is done in the outskirts of the village or inside the village, no longer in the outskirts. In those days, very early in the morning, people walk or take vehicles and go far away to go and farm. But now, nobody does that. And those who even want to do it, they are not sure that by the time their farm produce is maturing, some others will bring their cows and ride roughshod over it. So these are issues that concern people. It is not the issue of whether the president spends 8 years or 6 years or whatever. They should come back to the ground and tell us and do things that will benefit the populace.
But as an educator, you find your place in a situation where you look at merits and demerits, especially when you teach your students. Of course, in as much as we argue that the one term 6 years for presidency is not as it should be, how do you communicate this better to your students who has who is there with you and has proposed that as a project topic? How do you explain to him, how that his vision or his intention is not good enough and therefore he should have a change of topic?
No. You see, when you do things like that, that would be like imposing my own view. What the student would need to do is go out to and gather your data and let your data determine for you. Is it what your lecturers say? Is it correct, or is it viable, or is it not? Is not viable? That's all.
Thank you.
All right. This is just about the time we have for our main conversation today. We'd love to say a big thank you to Barrister Vance Ofeli for being part of our show.
You're welcome.
And Dr. Olayinka Oyebile also for being part of our show today. Let's leave you with some pictures from Monday's visit by leaders of the African Bar Association to the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Mwadashiru Obasa. And please, we would love you to do visit our website for more information on www.enterprisetvnews.com. Also like, comment and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. I'm Henry Igwebike.
I'm Choma Okoya.
Thank you for watching and bye-bye.
Bye.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.